Right, welcome back to a brand new video. This week I thought we would do something a little bit different. We'll go into sort of like what I eat in a day. Today I'll be showing you what I eat as a diet for my training days. So that will mean that I'm eating to fuel my body, keep the muscles sort of like all fueled up and ready for recovery around the day. So my nutrition will be based around that. Now, currently, I am in a slight sort of deficit, slight sort of cutting phase / a little bit of maintenance. So my calories will be less than usual. I am sort of sitting around sort of 70 to 71, 72 kg at the moment. So to start off, my sort of calories I aim for around sort of 2,000 a day, give or take. So just give me that sort of bit of flexibility if I do want to eat something a little bit treat-wise, or if I'm saving a little bit of calories for like another day or something. So I aim for around 140 to 160 grams of protein with 200 to 300 grams of carbs, 20 to 40 grams of fibre and 30 to 50 grams of fat. That's sort of like a breakdown of my macros for the training day. Rather than having sort of like a set meal plan, I will sort of stick to it if it fits your macros. Although my breakfast and pre-workout and post-workout tend to be sort of very similar, but my third or fourth meal sort of tends to switch up a little bit depending on the day. So I like to keep it sort of if it fits your macros sort of style, just so it makes it a bit more sustainable to eat a diet and be in a calorie deficit a bit more, rather than if I was to stick to sort of like set meals each day, day in, day out, then it tends to be a little bit harder to do, but that's why I choose it if it fits your macros. So we're looking to sort of what my overall day will look like. As you can see, I sort of hit 1,904 calories. Like I said, I'm trying to aim for around 2,000, give or take. Now I've gone for a little bit lower because I've added a few sauces sort of to my meals, but I don't tend to track them, so I give myself enough sort of like buffer space to be able to have as much sauces as I would like, but also stay in my deficit. So meal one is 4 egg whites with some green peppers, 50 grams of oats, 200 grams of milliliters of blue milk. Go with pure milk. Blue full fat gives you most all of the nutrients anyway. Don't worry about your skimmed or semi-skimmed, just leave that out. With that, I'll also have a scoop of whey protein. Like I said in my previous video, I'm currently using the Impact Whey Protein Blueberry flavour from Mind Protein. And I'll add 1 mini apple chopped up, 50 grams of frozen raspberries, and this is where I like to change it out. So one day I might have a banana and some blueberries in it, or another day just sort of mix up the fruits just to give a little bit different taste. To add the fruits in there, it gives me all my nutrients for the day and the vegetables as well. So you get your vitamins and your minerals in. So that meal sets us up quite nicely with about sort of 60 grams of protein, 60 grams of carbs and 15 grams of fats. Now, don't leave your carbs out. Never leave your carbs out. So don't never ever go for a keto diet, simply because you need carbs to fuel your glycogen stores in your muscles, and also carbs are used to help the brain function. So if you're dropping your carbs out, then how are you expecting to be productive and sort of that stuff? But keep them in all the time. So meal 2, or my pre-workout snack, is around sort of 64 grams of malt loaf, which I like to have before my workouts because it acts like a carb loading. For your workouts, make sure that you've got some glycogen stores in your muscles, and I tend to have this around sort of an hour or 45 minutes before I train. Meal 3 is also my post-workout meal. I'll have around sort of 293 grams of sweet potatoes, 136 grams of frozen basa fillets, which leaves us with 35 grams of protein, 58 grams of carbs and 4 grams of fat. Now that is quite key to have after a workout because it's high in carbs, so it will replenish the glycogen stores in your muscles that you've used to work out. Now, today I did my hamstrings, delts and arms. So obviously hamstrings being quite a large muscle group, you need sort of a bigger carb and glycogen stores to be able to train them effectively. So if we're using them up, we need to replenish them as well. So that's why we have around sort of 50 to 60 grams of carbs post-workouts. You can go higher, but because I'm saving calories, I like to save calories for the end meals or something like that, just so like I can have something if I want to. Now with the protein, 35 grams of protein is a nice solid hit of protein to help with protein synthesis and recovery of the muscles. Now that is going to help sort of build them up and help you grow in terms as well. So meal 4, this is where I tend to sort of be a bit more flexible. I'll have sort of a different meal here from day to day, and I sort of follow a similar trend, but I will sort of tend to mix it up, and that is because I quite like to have sort of like a different evening meal. So here today I had half a bag of boil in the bag rice and 126 grams of cooked chicken breast with a variety of veg. Now chicken breast is obviously high in protein, low in fat, so that's going to give me a high hit of protein as well, and obviously half a bag of rice. Rice is mainly carbs, so it's going to help out the carbs as well. Then you've got your veg in there to help with your vitamins and minerals, or I always recommend to have veg in at least every meal, or some sort of fruit and veg, just doesn't matter, just get them in. And then my last meal, which I normally have roughly a bit before bed, is 200 grams of Greek yogurt with 0% fat, 50 grams of frozen blueberries, which I microwave to make sort of like a compote sort of style, and then I'll add that to the yogurt to sort of give it like a sweet taste, but also gets your minerals and vitamins in from the fruits. And then with that, I'll have around sort of 85% dark chocolate, and that will be around sort of 25 grams, so it'll be a little packet like that. And that is simply just to get a bit more sort of like good fats in, and to sort of stop any chocolate cravings, and it helps with the taste as well. Now I have that sort of before bed because it allows me to have a high protein, high fat meal before bed to help with recovery overnight, and also to stop any cravings I may have. May wake up sort of feeling like I want something sweet, but because of the dark chocolate, I've had something there, so I know I can not have to worry about the cravings. So that is my current or sort of flexible diet that I'm doing at the moment. Now, training days is going to be sort of similar. Non-training days is going to be a little bit different. I can do a video on that as well. But I sort of tend to keep it the same and just sort of minimise or lower the amounts that I have. And that just allows me to adapt and sort of keep in deficit for when I'm not training as well. Obviously, I will incorporate sort of cheat days into it as well, or cheat meals, where it just sort of allows me to have a bit more flexibility, enjoy life as well, because let's be honest, dieting is shit, and yeah, you don't want to do it all the time. You've got to give yourself a break, because mentally wise, it is going to be very hard to sort of do it for 6 or even 12 weeks straight. So I do recommend to get at least a cheat day or a cheat meal in at least once a week, just to give yourself a break, or even incorporate refeeds into your diet, and that will help with your training as well. Also can give you quite a good pump depending on what you have. But that is it for the video this week. I hope you've enjoyed. Make sure to like and subscribe and share. Helps me out a lot, and it helps me to help you guys. So thank you very much, and I appreciate all of the support, and I'll see you next time.